What is good, Ninja? OG over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to the PE rant video that I have here for you guys. So today, we're going to be talking about this crazy infatuation that a lot of these AAA developers have with loot boxes, or I should say AAA publishers, forcing this onto developers and these loot boxes, and this facade or this veil of, oh, no more season passes and things like that. Oh, but we have these loot boxes in there. And ever since Overwatch essentially made a king's ransom with their loot boxes in the game, I think everyone pretty much knew, if you were gaming, you knew that these loot box stuff was going to take over. But it's interesting to see how it's infiltrated even single player games, which we'll talk about a little bit with Middle-earth Shadow of War on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, launching tomorrow, or for many of you guys, depending on when you're watching this, launching today. So I do want to talk about that, and also Star Wars Battlefront as well. And basically, I'm taking a stance on this. Now, I saw this coming a while ago. To be honest, I've seen it coming a while ago with big PS4, Xbox One, PC games, and I've kind of stopped playing all those games like Cuphead, games like SteamWorld Dig. The smaller games from third-party developers have always interested me more lately than some of these bigger games. But basically, I'm taking the stand as loot boxes and intrusive things like that kick rocks. So anytime a developer wants to put that into the game, I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to play that game or support that game with my money. And I want to read you guys off a couple of things about these two games in particular, because these are some of the games that people are essentially kind of calling this whole loot box thing out on. So first we have Middle-earth Shadow of War on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, of course. And here's a write-up from Kotaku, and here's what they had to say on the matter. Quote, "Ever since reviews for Shadow of War hit, talk of loot boxes and microtransactions have been heavy with panic and rife with misinformation. Are the best orcs behind a paywall? Is the design of the game predatory enough that it's going to make people feel pressured to drop extra cash on a $60 game? And what's this about the real ending being a microtransactions bonanza? Part of our confusion is that Shadow of War is a complicated game. 60 hours later, I'm still learning new things in it. And loot boxes are also similarly convoluted. There are 4 types of main loot chests, some which have subcategories, and 3 types of currencies. I've tried to earn most of these currencies and chests while playing the game for 60 hours and counting. I have a good sense of how loot boxes fit into the picture. It's not necessarily as bad as some may fear, but even 60 hours with the game isn't enough for me to bottom line that for sure." So let's talk about this a little bit, because some people are saying, oh, well, it's not that bad. But here's the thing, 60 hours into the game and you have these intrusive loot boxes that are different types of currencies in order to gain things. Whatever happened to having game design to where when you progress through the game, you earn money from actually beating enemies, and then that money you go to somewhere and you buy new weapons or you get new orcs? The game design is fundamentally being changed in order for these loot boxes, and it's absolutely ridiculous in a single player game. Can you earn everything in the game by just playing? Yes, you can, but it's fairly obvious just by that structure. The way that they have it is that they're easily trying to get you to pay for these loot boxes in order to get better things faster, because it's much faster to just pay for something than it is to play through the game normally. Now, we've seen in other games, this is not something that can't be done in games. If you play through a game for 60 hours, most people would probably have a good grasp of how you earn money, how you earn currency, the best way to do it, where to go to get it, potentially doing more quests in order to get some type of super weapon or something like that. Final Fantasy has been known for that for years. So they're essentially changing the full game design that we've seen that has worked for decades in this industry in order for this stupid, archaic loot box formula that multiplayer and free-to-play games usually do, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I will not buy this game with loot boxes in order to progress through. That's ridiculous. And then you get random stuff in there, so it's not even like you know what's going on, which once again fundamentally changes the way most games, when you play it, it's like, okay, I want to go buy this thing, I need this amount of money, whether it's Splatoon or other games like that, and this is just stupid in my opinion. So that's one thing. Now let's move over to Star Wars Battlefront, which is also in this whole whole loot box craze, and EA was like, yeah, no more season pass, or we're gonna have free updates. But yeah, this is how we're gonna make up the money on the back end. So this is coming from Forbes, and he said that while he liked most of what he saw on the Battlefront 2 beta this past weekend in terms of actual gameplay, the loot boxes did give me pause, and the entire system seems as strange as it did when it was first announced months ago. Granted, it is somewhat hard to tell how the system will work in the live game, as the contents of the boxes will expand, credit accumulation may be different, and of course there will be a way to purchase these loot boxes outright, as that the entire monetization model of the game, other than selling it to you for $60 of course. But in an era when the one type of loot boxes that are usually seen as acceptable are the ones based around cosmetic upgrades, Battlefront 2's boxes are unabashedly entirely around power upgrades. The star card system gives you flat damage upgrades, reduces damage taken, decreases cooldowns, gives modifiers to skills, doles out new weapons, and so on. The only cosmetic item I've seen in Battlefront 2 loot boxes so far has been a victory pose from the MVP screen. So let's just talk about this, because Angry Joe actually uploaded a rant on this as well. This is pay to win in this game, because you know good and well that the system that they're going to have in there is going to encourage people to just buy the loot box for $1 or $2 or whatever the case is, and not have to grind it out in matches because of how awesome some of these upgrades are. If you're actually influencing the way that these games are being played, what powers people have, damage reducers and all that, in order to be competitive in the multiplayer, you know you're going to get that rich dude, or you're going to get that dude who just wants to win, and he's going to spend that money like a free-to-play game in order to get the advantage of people who just play normally. This is a complete disrespect of anyone's time when it comes to these things. It's a complete disrespect, or it's like, give me more money, because the way that they have these loot boxes set up, as far as how long it takes with Star Wars Battlefront, you could be grinding for a very long time, and then you go for a loot box and you might not even get the one that you're looking for. It plays into the whole gambler's mentality and the whole pay to win as well. These loot boxes in these games are absolutely ridiculous. And look, I know there's been a ton of videos already on loot boxes and everything like that, and yes, a lot of us do think that they suck, but I wanted to do this because, one, you guys asked me to do it, you guys wanted my take on it, but also coming from someone who's kind of been shifting away, and I kind of saw this stuff coming from third-party developers quite a while ago. It's just funny to actually see it here in fruition, and people are like, well, why is this happening? Well, really because of the evolution of the season pass, the evolution of the DLC, the evolution of microtransactions essentially raiding into these games here, and people just willing to pre-order, and more pre-order. So for me, I can tell these developers, and I know they're probably not going to watch this video, whether it's Warner Bros. Or whether it's EA, all of them can kick rocks, because I'm not buying you guys' games. Any game that has these stupid loot boxes in there or anything like that, if it's not necessarily like cosmetic to where, you know, it doesn't actually affect the gameplay with you and powers and things like that, then I have an issue with it. Overwatch is okay for the most part, right? And it doesn't affect the actual powers and things like that, and it preserves the quality as far as playing the game, competitive balance and everything. But as far as what's going on with Star Wars Battlefront and all that, that's horrible, okay? I am definitely not going to play the game now. And then with Shadow of War, it's essentially just kind of urging you and pushing you to buy that stuff just because it's so complicated. How can you get 60 hours into a game and still not be sure as far as how to do things? That's absolutely insane. I also want to add that I think that it's absolutely bonkers that they charge $60 for these games, then on top of that there's even this too. So that also seems really off as well, and also disrespectful to the consumer. So what do you guys think about this whole loot boxes and all these things like that? Are you still going to buy these games despite that? Do you disagree with what's going on? Do you feel that they're a benefit to the industry? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also make sure you check out our Patreon page, pledge any tier, be entered in to win some awesome prizes. Plus we have Discord voice chat for our live streams and prize eShop tournaments. Also, make sure you check out our YouTube live gaming page. We're doing a lot of live streaming, and consider sponsoring PlayerEssence. It works very similarly to Twitch, so check out the link in the description below and consider sponsoring PlayerEssence. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest Japanese, RPG, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in for the next video. Peace.